Yo, what's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be having a look at Blastoise in the Open Great League. This is a Pokemon which whenever I first seen getting buffed, I wasn't super excited about it. I didn't really think it was going to be any good, especially because they nerfed Rollout this season as well. But to my surprise, Blastoise was very decent. The good thing about Blastoise in the meta, which might be a reason to use it instead of something like a Feraligatr, is it's much more bulky. It's got Rollout, it's got Skull Bash, it's going to be doing very well into Lapras, which you guys are going to find to be super common in this meta. It'll be doing a lot better into things like Morpeko, with neutral fast move pressure. It's going to be just destroying Talonflames with the Rollout. And against things like this, you know, Mud Slappers, Astonish users, Blastoise really just has the bulk to hang in there, and I was super surprised by it. The pacing is very nice as well. It's 4 to the first Hydro Cannon, and then 3 for each subsequent Hydro Cannon after that. So the pacing is very nice with Blastoise also. And one thing that's very cool about this Pokemon is, just like Lapras, it's got access to Skull Bash. Skull Bash is a move that does heavy damage, but also guarantees to buff your defense by 1 stage. So if you're in matchups like Toxapex, you can basically shield the Sludge Wave, completely neutralize all of their damage, buff your defense, and that's where sort of PV Poke doesn't really come into these sort of things. You can boost your defense, look to come out with some energy, and just be a real nuisance to take out. Unless I've got super effective damage or a lot of fast move pressure, Blastoise can be a bit of a nuisance. Speaking of nuisance, this Roserade is putting in a lot of work. This team that I'm showcasing today, it's not a climbing team, it's more of a let's try out the new meta kind of team. Roserade was super fun, and I think it's kind of underrated as well. It's actually very decent, straight forward to the Legacy Weller Ball, and I think it must be 6 or 7 to Leaf Storm, which as you've seen in the talk specs today, completely wrecks it. This matchup right here is not too bad for Roserade either. You can shield the Crunch. I'm assuming we probably just about died to a Crunch here, to be fair. This thing is very glassy. I decided to play this match out a little bit, and basically try to get some damage through in the Drapion. We've already got it decently low, and we go for a very nice catch here, on which is most likely going to be a Crunch. Blastoise, being a pretty bulky boy, takes it fairly easily from attack with a Drapion, and the opponent actually brings in a Emolga. Emolga will look to outpace me. Unfortunately, we're saying goodbye to Blastoise pretty early in this matchup here, but we can hopefully look to try and sweep it up with our 2-back Pokemon. This thing wins CMP against most Pokemon, so I decided to go for Weller Ball here right away. And I'm thinking here, do we just sacrifice this as well? He could go for a bait at this point. Oh, he does actually go for a bait, but I decide to shield it. This is kind of bad. I'm going to go for a CMP tie on this Weller Ball here. Look to try and get rid of the opponent. The opponent lets it go, and they actually come into a Swampert. Unfortunately, that's just going to have to be a top left. Pretty bad counters for us in the back. Swampert, in my personal opinion, is definitely back in the meta. Anyway guys, as you can see, today we have the graphic updated correctly. We've got Roserade, Feraligatr, Blastoise. In the last video, I completely messed the video up from start to finish, basically. The graphic in the video was incorrect. There was no music in the video. It was just a complete shambles, so thankfully today we're sort of back on track with that. Hope you guys have been enjoying the uploads this week. We've been trying to be a bit more consistent with the new season. Every season I sort of have different goals. This season I just so happen to have goals to make more videos. Last season I was trying my absolute best to climb, and of course I was able to make it to top 25 on the leaderboards last season. Despite not uploading as much, I was able to sort of achieve my goals in that sense. But anyway, as you can see, that Skull Bash does a lot of damage to the Meganium. We bring back in this. I'm like, please don't Earthquake me. He goes for the double resisted Frenzy Plant, of course, where Poison and Grass. I'm able to get to this next move at CMP time, and I'm sort of starting to think maybe they're weak to this in the back. Very interesting. It was very tempting to shield here just because I want to keep some health on this Pokemon, but I just recognize we can probably get shields off whatever comes in, and in comes the Azumarill. Okay, can we actually do something here? I go for a bit of a psychotic bait here, and the opponent's even more psychotic than I am. That was a stupid bait. I only make it to 1 move, so like, I might as well just go for that move. That was just super greedy. The good thing is Feraligatr can somewhat deal with Azu, so we're still in a fine position. The Poison Stings have added up a little bit, and the opponent will get to land a player off. I decided to shield the first move, knowing that they won't go for the bait first time around. That would be pretty psychotic as well. The opponent probably would have learned from my mistake and not went for that stupid bait. Hydro Cannon coming in, of course, the opponent will like to shield it. I think I might try to anticipate the catch. The opponent comes into Meganium. I'm thinking here at this point, we might be able to just Poison Sting down here. The opponent comes back in, I come in with the Roserade right away. We're only 1 move off the Weller Ball. We look to take it out, and that's good games. That game could have been a lot shorter, but of course, I'm a filthy beater. Anyway, we had some very positive sets with this team, and hopping into the next one, we get Pangoro. Pangoro is kind of interesting. It kind of dicks all over my Feraligatr. Does very well into Blastoise as well. I'm going to be showcasing Pangoro most likely tomorrow, if I can be bothered recording it. This Pokemon's very decent this season. If you look at the top meta and PV Poke, a lot of Ghosts, a lot of Pokemon that are weak to fighting, and Dark type coverage. I think Pangoro could be very nice this season. I'm definitely going to be trying it out a little bit more. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's video if you want to see that in action, if I bother to make it. I will showcase it this week sometime, definitely. Anyway, we've got a very decent matchup. This is where Blastoise will be looking to be quite decent. Psywaves add up. but the opponent generally speaking should be on Ice Beam. I go for an undercharge here, a very nasty undercharge, meaning I get a bit of a rollout down. I will have to take a further move here. This is perfectly fine. We just want energy here. I want to force the Pangoro to come in and further energy immediately. That means I can basically come back in with my Roserade, sacrifice it if need be here. The opponent's got a decent overfarm. They actually banked 4 and then done an extra when they come in. So I'm just trying to cope my way through this. Can I Shadow Claw down? Not quite. I do have to respect this with Shadow for Alligator. This team is very, very glassy, so it is kind of difficult to designate shields. But as you can see, the opponent's coming in with Grumpy Grumpig. We're going to look to probably outpace this. It's 12 turns to each. I almost called it a Psy Strike. It's a Psy Strike clone Dynamic Punch. We just outpace with Shadow Claws to the Hydro Cannons, so we should be in a very decent position here. I built up to back-to-back moves, knowing the opponent's probably going to go for a catch at some point. At this stage, we've got all the energy we need. The opponent's not going to make it to 2 moves, and I don't know who wins CMP. I think we do. Did we just win CMP there? I'm pretty sure Alligator would win the CMP time, but good games nonetheless. For this team, you definitely could run Shadow for Alligator in the back, with Blastoise as a safe swap. Being bulky and stuff like that and having very nice coverage, Blastoise probably can get a shield off a lot of things. So like that is something you could try to do. Anyway, the opponent goes for Bone Club here. I look to go for a bait once again. I'm not expecting the opponent to let this go. This would look to basically one-shot them. I end up going for a CMP tie here. This is either going to get the knockout or the opponent's final shield. By the looks of things, the opponent wants to keep the Marowak alive. I'm thinking they might go for an undercharge here at this point, in which case I would probably swap out. But the opponent just goes for a full send here. They're going to be 6 Shadow Claws off the move. I throw in 5 here, just to make sure the opponent does not catch it, and we should be in a decent position now. We've got R for Alligator and Blastoise up a shield. The opponent comes into Wiggly for fast move pressure. I get straight out of there, and I'm thinking, do I go for the big Skull Bash? The opponent goes for the catch and Bastion. Not going to happen, pal. Not going to happen. Been there, done that, seen that a million times. We're going to start absolutely unloading Hydro Cannons. Like I said, Blastoise is fairly bulky, so these Hydro Cannons are surprisingly not doing that much damage. I decided to go for a CMP tie here. I was considering undercharging that move, but then I realized this could get really hairy if I undercharge it. I'm just going to go for 2 Hydro Cannons. That's basically the easiest way to win this match. The opponent had some Charm energy, so I didn't want them to reach 2 moves, but I realized I've got a little bit of energy in Gator. I'll definitely make the move with the Blastoise. If the opponent dumps all over their energy, I'll just outpace them, so I don't need to go for any fancy farm downs or any fancy undercharges. Double Hydro Cannon's going to get it done. That's good games well played. Like I said, guys, I was very surprised how well this team done. In the first set, we get a 4-1. Absolutely cooking with this team, and once again, we do get a Drapion lead. Let's see if we can get some redemption here. I lost the last Drapion lead. We're going to look to CMP the opponent on 5. This Water Ball does roughly 50% to the Drapion. They let it go, and I wonder, can I take this move or not? I'm surprised the opponents aren't trying to go for a bait as well, because Roserade is super glassy. I'm going to once again play to a CMP time and see what the opponent really wants to do with this. If they were to let this go, I'd be very happy, because I'm pretty happy to keep my Roserade alive. What I'm sort of starting to think here is maybe I'm going to look to get all shields down and maybe set up a nasty rollout down with the Blastoise, or maybe I'll look to go for a catch or something here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I do end up actually just making it to the move. The opponent overfarms a little bit too much, getting off track with energy. We take out the Drapion. The opponent comes into Wigglytuff. They came into a different normal type. I didn't quite see it there. We come into Blastoise. We're going to Skull Bash this pink turd into oblivion, and hopefully we can look to... I don't think we can quite roll out down here, sadly, but hopefully we can look to overfarm a little bit, get off another Hydro Cannon. That Swift is doing minimal damage. The charms aren't really adding up too much now. My Blastoise, by the way, is rank 5. I decided not to take it out here because I don't want to give the opponent basically a farm down. The switch clock was still misaligned, so the last thing I want to do is basically give their Dunsparce energy. This matchup between Dunsparce is very, very close with Alligator and the Zero Shield. It comes down to pacing, so my thinking there was I didn't want the opponent to basically outpace me. I thought at the time that I made a mistake and basically got a little bit too fancy. This turned out to be the correct play, not giving them an energy lead and not letting them basically outpace to 2 drill runs. That was the key to winning this battle for me. At the time while I was streaming, I kind of thought that was a mistake, like maybe I overplayed my hand a little bit too much here, but it worked out perfectly for me, and I'll hop on to the next one. So we resist the fast move pressure. They of course can look to go for Psychic Fangs, which are super effective, does a shit ton of damage. They do let that first move go, so I'm pretty inclined to let this go now as well. If they let it go, I'll let it go. They go for Aura Wheel, which does very, very heavy damage. They can probably look to commit to a farm down, and I think once I get the shield, I have to get out of here. I can't really allow the opponent to get... Oh, they actually just let it go. Okay, they come into Drifblim, I come into for Alligator. You really just couldn't ask for anything better than that. I guess they're saving their shields for their probably somewhat glassy Pokemon in the back, so I'm expecting to see something pretty glassy, or it could be like Double Ghost here, something else, maybe like a Fairy, something that's good into Mud Slap, maybe like a Togetic would make sense, Morpeko Double Flyer, and we'll see what it is in the back. To my surprise here, the opponent just lets the move go here. They come into... Okay. Very, very interesting team by the opponent. This team definitely just gets kind of wrecked by like a grass in the lead, which I guess I did have this game, albeit a very glassy one. The opponent full sends the Earth Power. We go for a Skull Bash here, just to basically boost my defense, and that'll basically put us in a really good position. They let that move go. I don't think 2 Hydro Cannons would have quite knocked it out anyway, so it would have needed to go for 2 moves. And as you can see with the boosted defense, we can take this move pretty comfortably at this point, and we're still pretty deep in the red. That would have looked to knock me out earlier on in the match. Putting shields up, I swap out immediately, don't let them get the farm down. Come in with Gator, get this move off, and that should be good games well played. In the next battle, we have an extinct Pokemon coming into the lead. We indeed have Shadow Annihilape. I don't think this Pokemon's quite extinct, but this Pokemon is not looking anywhere near as good as it used to be. Even things that it technically beats, like Lapras, puts a lot of work into it. If you're up by 1 Psywave, you basically beat it in the 1 shield. You beat it in the 0 shield if you don't go for close combat right away. This Pokemon's looking more and more tricky to run. What I decided to do in this matchup here is basically look to go for the bait the first time around, go for the Leaf Storm the second time around, get the shields off the opponent, come into Feraligatr, and oftentimes with an Annihilape lead you'll have things like Digger's Beam, things that are weak to counter in the back. Sometimes you see it with Bastiodon, so I'm pretty confident that my Blastoise and Feraligatr can look to sweep this up. I come into Lapras here. I'm assuming this is going to be a new Annihilape core. Lapras and Annihilape definitely is going to be very, very strong. Funny enough, in watching the regionals, they were kind of talking about Dugong and how well it done yesterday. I guess by the time you guys are watching this, I think next week or next regional that you guys see is going to have a lot of Lapras. Lapras is going to be just a hardcore staple in the meta. When it comes into Drapion here, this matchup right here is slightly awkward because, as you can see, the crunch does close to 50% to me here. They definitely live a Hydro Cannon, so I'm thinking here, do I have to go for a Skull Bash here? What's the best way to play this out? The thing that's kind of annoying here is I think Annihilape was one off a move when they swapped out, so we're in a very, very tricky spot now, and that does not knock them out. I come in, get the CMP tie. Unfortunately, I think we just get outpaced by the Annihilape. I think we're just cooked here, sadly. They get that extra counter through. I can see the match before they get the throw off the move. That's good games well played, unfortunately. For an extinct Pokemon, that thing done pretty decently well. And in comes Sableye, the new exciting ghost type in the meta. I'm really happy Sableye's back. This is one of my favourite Pokemon. I think with Feraligatr getting buffed, that's kind of the main reason why this Pokemon's not as good as it used to be. It just gets outpaced pretty heavily by a lot of things in the meta. The coverage move of Dazzling Gleam is quite interesting. One thing to note about Sableye is, if you want to continue to run it with Power Gem, it definitely has a lot of use with Power Gem. Power Gem is 7 and then straight 6 after that, whereas Dazzling Gleam is straight 7. So it might be worth going for Power Gem. Dazzling Gleam does marginally more damage, but it depends on what kind of coverage you're looking for. So both of those options definitely very viable with Sableye. But it makes a nice catch on the Azzy. However, we're just overfarmed like crazy with this thing, and I decide, okay, we'll come in, tank the move. Hopefully the opponent goes for a bait here at this point. They do go for an Ice Beam bait, and we're in a very decent position now. I want to basically overfarm in this matchup. Sableye did bank some energy before they swapped out. We can easily tank the Azzy moves. We don't really want to necessarily take the Sableye moves too much, so we get up to back-to-back Hydro Cannons. I think this should be just about enough to knock it out from here. Boom, just about takes it out. If Sableye comes, they're going to get met and grit. Meted and greeted by the Hydro Cannon. The opponent, of course, has no choice but to let that go. Comes into Digger's Beam, and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we have Stinky Binky in the lead. We sort of do have 3 answers to this, but I just decide, man, I want to get a Leaf Storm off on this. This will do such heavy damage. Oh my goodness, I did not expect it to be that much, though. That was absolutely disgusting. Roserade just hits like an absolute truck. We almost nuked that thing. Carbink being one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the meta, well, I wouldn't say it's in the meta necessarily, but it is very bulky nonetheless. They come in, they go for a double Shadow Punch here. I'm not super worried about this. Blastoise can definitely tank it. We can look to get off a further move. And if it's something like Carbink double Ghost or some bullshit like that, we're in a very, very good spot here. The opponent lets it go. I'm just going to swap into Gator. Yeah, in comes Sableye. I do something quite dirty here. Basically, whenever you've got a Pokemon that wins CMP, if you build up to back-to-back moves and then like tap the CMP twice, you can basically deny the opponent. As you can see, we go for Hydro Cannon number 1 here. The Hydro Cannon pops up at the bottom for a second, so if you tap it, it'll basically piggyback the CMP time. So it means that the Shadow Claw lead that the opponent had, they no longer have it at this stage. It is a bit of a dirty play, to be fair, but you sort of have to be aware of that. If the opponents are trying to CMP you on back-to-back moves, that's always a possibility, so definitely keep an eye out for that if that's going to happen. The opponent comes into Stinky Binky, we come in with this, we're going to Poison Sting all the way down, and I think either way, we were going to win this match pretty comfortably anyway. Good games to the opponent there. We were just going to basically outpace them, whatever way you look at it, and let's hop on into the next one. Definitely give me your thoughts on Blastoise in the comment section down below. I think it's very, very surprising how good it is. I just kind of thought it was one of them Pokemon that just kind of got buffed, but it's not really that good. We get a terrible lead in the next battle. However, we get a free Shadow Claw advantage on the Morpeko. I am expecting the opponent to go for a debuff here. I sort of have to shield it anyway, because I guess I could have just no-shielded that. I want to try to land a Hydro Cannon if possible, or get the opponent's second shield. I think no-shielding is probably the correct play for me here. I'm just sort of hoping that I can make it to the move. However, the opponent froze immediately, so I'm really happy with this situation now. I can move Roserade. Roserade, I'm pretty sure, wins CMP on Morpeko. This thing is super attack weighted, and hopefully with that... Oh, they actually win CMP, never mind, what do I know? This is going to be the electric move, or of course Psychic Fangs, so we let this go. We're pretty happy to take it here. The opponent's got a Talonflame in the lead, and basically already at this point, it's all up to Blastoise. Can Blastoise sweep it? The opponent does a simul swap into the Talonflame. I sort of have to respect this. It most likely will be Brave Bird. For the most optimal timing and most optimal overfarm, we do free and fro. 3 of these plus a Hydro Cannon will definitely KO the Talonflame. We're washing it down and turning it into chicken nuggets right here. The opponent comes into a Serp. Can I still win this game? Okay, so we get off the Skull Bash here. Basically, I think the way I win this game is by the opponent not overfarming. Okay, the opponent actually froze right away. Okay, so all we have to do is avoid the catch. The opponent's definitely going to go for a catch right here. Unfortunately, the opponent does not make the catch, so one of 2 things happened. The opponent's switch clock was not up, because they did swap into the Talonflame. They got off a move, I got off a move, and then they got off a Frenzy Plant. I think each charge move is like 12 seconds, plus the time that they waited the switch clock down. I'm fairly certain that the clock was either up, or just about not up. Maybe it was just about not up, right? But in those situations, if you're playing against really good players, they're always counting your fast moves. They basically know that the win con is to catch the move, right? Roserade definitely going to win CMP. I'm going to assume that the switch clock was probably not quite up there, but in that case, let's say for example the switch clock was up. I think if you know that you're playing against good battlers, if you're a fairly decent high elo player yourself, it's always better to make that play, even if the opponent doesn't play to that. It's more often than not, whenever you're facing good players, that they're counting every single fast move. They know when you're about to reach the move, they know when to make the catch. They're basically trying to find the win condition for themselves, right? So if you can try to predict what the opponent's win condition might be, because what's the alternative, right? The alternative is I just fireball them, take them out, take the other Pokemon out, GG's, thanks for playing. The opponent's obviously not going to want that to happen, so they're going to try and catch as soon as I reach the move, because of course it is a very crucial, very scary situation for me. We're basically reaching the charge move at the same time, so it's a really, really scary situation. It's really hard to like basically train yourself that way, that you have to be really patient. Even though they're going to reach the charge move, you don't throw it, you wait for the catch, you be super patient. I decided to watch it back, and I think the switch clock definitely was up, so definitely something to keep in mind. And hopping into this one here, we've got an Annihilape. We do win CMP in this one, so we do go for this. Boom, fireball a ball, they let it go, love to see it. This is a lot better. The opponent's letting get off multiple moves on them before they even throw something. The opponent's not really playing their ape in the most optimal way. You definitely want to throw basically straight away. As bad as that might sound, just throw immediately, get the damage ramped up. That's basically the best way to play an Annihilape, because you want to ramp up the counter damage as quickly as possible. We can farm this down with Gator. The opponent brings in G-Weezy. Behind an energy against Gator, we are in a very decent position here. They actually tank the Hydro Cannon, and I think I'm going to look to tank the move on my Blastoise here. Blastoise, a lot bulkier than for Alligator. Boom, Sludge, definitely doesn't even two-shot here, and I actually might even be able to commit to a rollout down. We're going to take this move here and just commit to the rollouts. Overheat, going for the raw damage here, we farm it all the way down. What does the opponent bring back in? They're thinking long and hard. What are they going to bring in? They're going to bring in the Annihilape. As suspected, they're going to try to basically absorb the energy here. If they're weak to water in the back, we're in a great position. However, it is Azu in the back. Hopefully this is still winnable. Oh, actually, sorry, it's not Azu, it's bloody Swampert. Right there, they should not have shielded that Hydro Cannon, because I have a Shadow for Alligator. This Hydro Cannon does a lot more, and that's good games well played. Anyway guys, check out Blastoise in the Great League. It's very fun. I like it a lot. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe. It's all very much appreciated. Feel free to join us in Discord in the description down below. And if you want to keep up to date with me, feel free to check out my Twitter, which is on screen right here. Thank you everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll catch you all next time.